right, y'all, let's talk about why one set of files got this whole government shook. You got Republicans fighting each other, Democrats calling for transparency, survivors begging to be heard, and a former president calling the whole thing a hoax. While folks around him are doing everything they can to keep certain names in the dark, we're talking about the Epstein files. Who knew what? Who did what? And why it seems like everybody wants the truth except the people holding the power to actually release it. Tonight, we're breaking it down clip by clip. We're going to be talking about power, justice, and who this system really protects. Let's roll the clip.
Today, Republicans are pretty divided over a vote set for next week that would force the Justice Department to release all the case materials. Yesterday, we saw thousands of pages of Epstein emails released by the House Oversight Committee, emails between Epstein and some of the most powerful men in the world of politics and big business. President Trump is not one of those men, but Epstein does speak about him many, many times. The convicted sex offender was closely tracking Trump's political rise, at times calling him crazy and suggesting he had dirt on his one-time friend. Now, Trump has not been accused of any criminal wrongdoing in connection with Epstein. The White House says it's all a hoax to distract from Trump's political successes.
See, that's the setup right there. On paper, they keep reminding you Trump hasn't been charged with a crime in the Epstein case. And that part is true. That's the legal reality. But what's also true is that Epstein was talking about Trump a lot in these emails. He was tracking Trump's rise. He even hinted that he had a little dirt on him. You don't casually say you got dirt on the future president if y'all two dudes just saying hi at a cocktail party. And this is where the game starts. The White House line. Hoax, distraction, witch hunt. Move along. But notice, every time something gets close to the full sunlight, suddenly it's a hoax. Russia, a hoax. Classified docs, a hoax. Election fraud, a hoax. Now Epstein, hoax. At some point, you gotta ask, is everything a hoax, or do powerful people really hate to be accountable for what they do?
Florida girl. I have 2 daughters. So I'm thinking, I mean, I'm sure that the president has nothing to fear. Yeah. We do need to know. We do need to know everything about Epstein.
If this comes on the floor, I will vote for it. I want transparency. To me, it's the worst PR job I've seen anywhere. I mean, initially, back in February or March, whatever it was, we have all the Epstein lists right here. We're going to release it. And then all of a sudden, there's nothing. I mean, it's sort of they shot themselves in the foot on this.
I'm going to vote for it if it comes up. Pam Bondi was supposed to come to the House and answer these questions. And look, I'm not on the Judiciary Committee, but I did want Pam Bondi to come and do some explaining.
Now this is where it gets interesting. These ain't Democrats. These ain't lefty activists on Twitter. These are Republicans saying, look, if Trump got nothing to hide, why not release it? If you're so confident the files are clear you, releasing them should do nothing but help you. But instead, here's what we're seeing. Broken promises about you releasing everything, mixed signals from House leadership, and a whole lot of behind closed doors pressure to slow this thing down. You got Republicans telling on themselves, yeah, the PR on this is trash. That's because you can't bring yourself as the party of law and order, and you're dragging your feet on releasing files about a convicted sex trafficker and his network of powerful friends. If you're truly on the side of victims, you don't hide the evidence. You let the evidence talk for itself.
Do you know more about what these documents may say about President Trump or other powerful politicians that the public does not know yet?
Yeah, there's still more that committee staff is going through and determining what needs to be redacted before the release. And then we always consult with leadership on the Republican side as well before any drops are made public. And I fully anticipate that we will receive more, at least from the estate of Epstein. It does not seem like the Department of Justice has really been inclined to actually participate, which is one reason that we're talking about this discharge petition and talking about this vote. It's because we need something with a little bit more fire behind it to hopefully get the Department of Justice to finally start to cooperate.
Translation. There's more we haven't seen. There's more that hasn't dropped. and people holding it ain't exactly sprinting to share it. You got Epstein estate turning over documents to Congress, staffers combing through emails, bank records, and details. But DOJ, under multiple administrations, they've been dragging their feet. And that's not just a Trump thing or a Biden thing. That's a system thing. Because when it comes to a street crime, boy, they ready to move in fast, kick your dough in, throw you in cuffs, and then we'll figure it out later. But when the names on the paperwork belong to billionaires, politicians, celebrities, lawyers, judges, donors, suddenly everybody's real careful. We got to move real slow. We got to make sure we do the process the correct way. That discharge petition they mentioned, that's basically Congress saying, look, if y'all won't hand it over voluntarily, we're going to force the issue. When both Republicans and Democrats hit that point, you know the truth got somebody sweating right now.
We don't know what the DOJ has, nor what it is that the DOJ potentially was trying to do. Considering that the president right now is trying to obstruct on some very basics of let's just get a subpoena that says release all the information, I wouldn't be surprised, just like he obstructed the prosecution of one of his henchmen who took $50,000 in taxpayer dollars from undercover officers. I wouldn't be surprised if he sent a message and said, stop investigating. We're done with this. Epstein's dead. I don't want to hear anything else about it.
Do you have any evidence of that claim?
I have no idea. No, that's the whole point. I have no information. And that's why we need these files to be released, because we are looking for transparency, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent. Listen, if people decide that they want to continue to support a person who may be a pedophile himself or a person who obviously is covering for pedophiles, that's on them. But they should know at least the devil that they have decided to pick.
All right, let's talk about that. First off, legally, Trump has not been charged with Epstein's crimes. That does matter. We got to be accurate. What she's saying is the possibility of a cover-up, not a criminal conviction. But she hits a key point. If you still want to ride with him, at least know the devil you picked. That's the heart of this whole debate, because this ain't just about Trump. This is about who the DOJ chose not to chase. Who got protected by status? Who had investigations quietly slowed or stopped? Who's being shielded while survivors relive this mess over and over? If the president, any president, is pressuring the DOJ to pull back, that is not politics. That is abuse of power. And honestly, a lot of folks at home don't care what letter is next to your name. They just want to know, did you help protect the abusers? Did you bury the evidence? Or did you stand with the victims when it really mattered? If you're confident the answer makes you look good, go ahead and release the files.
I do think here that for President Trump, and as you said, like there's no clear implication of wrongdoing here in these emails. But it begs the question, and this is what I think is so politically problematic for him right now, is why are you opposed to the full transparency of this being released? Just why?
Yeah.
Why are you opposed to that? It's a very simple question, because, you know, when Speaker Johnson was on with Jake Tapper earlier this week, said, you know, Grijalva's going to get sworn in. They're going to be 218. This discharge petition is going forward. And Johnson's response was, it's kind of moot now. House Oversight has been investigating this. This is a moot point.
Exactly.
Except that Boebert is being brought to the Situation Room to get her out. So Donald Trump doesn't think it's moot.
That's the whole show right there in one question. If the emails don't prove criminal activity, if you know you're innocent, if you spend years calling other people out over Epstein, why are you scared of the sunlight? You can't have it both ways. You can't be in the front row yelling, release the list, expose the elites, when you think it's only going to hit your enemies, and then suddenly start to talk about the process and hoaxes when that same light swings right back towards your ass. So if you're really anti-elite and anti-corruption, don't fight the release. You actually should lead it. The longer you stall, the more regular people start thinking, damn, something they doing just ain't that clean.
Let me tell you something. There's been recent reporting where MAGA seems to be upset because I have to pay for security. I'm actually upset that I have to pay for security as well. The threats that come with being on the other side of this president are significant and serious. And so when you have a list of women and they are the ones that are making these claims, for anybody that doesn't want to believe the truth, then they will start to go after them. They will start to threaten their families. It would be better if we had the contemporaneous reports from law enforcement where they called in at those moments and gave the reports of what was happening. It's kind of like the birthday letter that he wants to pretend is a hoax. That was a contemporaneous writing at that time. This was not produced in real time, and they don't want it to be seen as partisan or political. They just want people to believe in the facts. And so if it is that they reported this maybe even before he was president, then maybe people will actually believe it versus the hate that they get thrown at them in this moment. So no, I don't think that they'll do it. I think it's the smartest thing that they can do for safety.
This is the part that cuts deeper than politics. Everybody's arguing strategy, spin, elections, polls, who gets hurt in 2026 and 2028. Meanwhile, you got survivors, some who were kids when all of this went down, who are scared to even list names because they don't want to get doxxed, harassed, or worse, even threatened with their lives. They have already lived a nightmare once. Now they got away. Do I tell my story publicly and risk my family's safety, or do I stay quiet and watch people who hurt me live their best life in the spotlight? Man, that is so sick. And if your first instinct when these files come up is, how will this hurt my party? Instead of, how do we finally give survivors the truth and closure and justice they deserve? Then you already told us who the hell you really care about. Survivors shouldn't have to beg for transparency in a country that keeps yelling justice for everyone. This is crazy. Here's where I land on this. If there's more documents, release all of them. If the DOJ dropped the ball under whoever, whether that's Biden, Clinton, Obama, we deserve to know. If powerful people use their positions to protect predators, this has to be exposed no matter who is in the line of fire. This ain't left versus right. This is powerful versus vulnerable. And right now, the vulnerable are losing. You don't fix that with hashtags. You fix it with the truth. And sometimes the truth is ugly, but it's still better than the lies that we've been living with for all these years. This is hood politics. We talk about stuff all those other people dance around, man. And I want to know, should all Epstein-related files be released with minimal redactions? And do you trust the DOJ to police itself? Do you trust Congress to force them to actually release everything? Let us know, man. Hit the like button, subscribe and share. Don't forget to comment, because this ain't a game. This is about who the country really protects. I'll see you on the next one.